a single automation platform in your organization to automate all your business processes easily, moving from Excel and paper-based processes to online. This is a demonstration to show how easy it is to automate a process using CogentProc Workflow Automation Framework CPWAF. You can see after a login, one can see several workflow automations tabs in a single window. We will focus on onboarding workflow automation. Let's start a new onboarding request for an employee by the HR. I put the new employee's name and his requirement, like if the new employee will be needing or not needing, the Active Directory account, e-business account, telephone account, etc. All fields and their properties in the form are customizable and does not require any coding. Also, the rules to show certain fields and to hide another based on input are also customizable. This is one of the simplest form and can be made complex based on the organization type, employee type, designation, roles, etc. without any coding through the admin panel. Then I submit the onboarding request to the smart card unit. I can change the email content on the fly, which will be sent to the smart card unit as well. Email sent. We can view that the request is now pending with smart card unit, and the HR can view the tracking with the email he sent. Before I show the login of smart card unit, let's see the workflow diagram. It starts with the HR, the smart card unit. If the smart card is ready and there is a requirement of Active Directory, it will go to the Windows unit for Active Directory account activation. If the Active Directory account is ready, then it will check if the requirement for e-business is mentioned in the form or not. If yes, then it will go to the e-business unit. After the e-business unit, there is a forking of two parallel tasks, supply chain and attendance unit. After completion from supply chain and attendance unit, the onboarding request will proceed to HR onboarding unit to view the summary. Now let's carry on where we left the automation at the supply chain unit. We log in with the credentials of supply chain in charge. You will be able to see one on the onboarding system tab showing that there is a new request pending for you. Here you can see the request after clicking on the onboarding system tab. Now on opening the request, he will be able to see the form he is supposed to fill after clicking on the pending request button. He can view and fill in the details required from him and click next to proceed. Here he can see the forms he was supposed to complete. In this case, only one form of smart card is present. He cannot proceed further and submit the task to the next in the workflow unless the forms in the submit checklist is all completed. At the task of smart card unit approval, the user has two options: either to return the request to HR for any desired update or forward it to the Windows unit for Active Directory account creation. I am now forwarding the request to the Active Directory account creation task. Now let's see what is needed from Active Directory account unit in charge. He opens the request assigned to him. As we can see in the workflow diagram, the request is supposed to come from the smart card unit to the Windows unit. He can see the form he is supposed to work in and his task Active Directory account creation. He completes the form and submits to the e-business unit. In his task, the form assigned to him is to put the newly created valid email address. Being one of the users involved in the workflow, he can also view the tracking of the request with timestamps. We now log in with the HR who submitted the onboarding request. Let's see what the HR sees when the onboarding request has reached the e-business through smart card and Windows account. He can view the request in red, showing that it is active and pending with e-business unit. Also, he can view the tracking of his request at any instance with the correspondence among the users. Okay, now let's log in with e-business in charge. He opens the form he is supposed to fill in. All the forms are designed in the admin panel and can be modified at any time. Modifications like changing text and labels can be done at any time, while adding new fields or changing type of field can be done after moving the workflow to draft state. Now, for example, the admin would like to modify the label. Label comments should be replaced with additional info. As a no-code platform, CPWAF allow admin to easily maintain a back-office admin window to make changes like this. Here you can see all the forms present in the workflow automation. We click on the 3 fields present in the e-business account creation form. Here is the comments field, which I would like to change to additional info and make it mandatory, so that end users cannot ignore this field in order to complete their assigned task. There are many other options for a field, making the automation customizable to a great extent. As I said before, some customizations can be done on fly, while others require the automation to be in draft mode. We will be discussing the admin panel in detail in other videos. Now, I refresh the user window after saving the changes in the field. The changes are reflected perfectly. The field label is changed from comments to additional info and has become mandatory. Let's fill in the required form and required fields and proceed further in the workflow by clicking Next button present in each required form. It leads to the action page as before, where you can see the checklist of form with their status and actions liable for you in this task. We can see 2 emails going to 2 different persons in performing this action. This is because, as shown before in the workflow diagram, the forking action is being performed in which one task is generating 2 parallel tasks. After performing this action, we can see the request is submitted to 2 different persons responsible for 2 different tasks. Both can log in simultaneously and perform the task they are supposed to complete. Now, this is one of the tasks, supply chain issue hardware. He fills in the form and submit. Each user who are assigned a task in the workflow are also reminded with an email notification. The reminder keeps on firing until the task is complete and submitted. The duration and frequency of reminders are also managed in the admin panel. Since, in the initial onboarding request, the telephone and security were not set to be required, the request will be sent directly to the HR onboarding unit bypassing telephone and security. Similarly, we have to complete the another parallel task, attendance unit. There are quite simple forms in the onboarding workflow automation. However, in the workflows like procurement, payment, vehicle management, license management form have data that need to be fetched from local repositories and fed back there. CPWAF facilitates well for these requirements. Moreover, CPWAF also provide relevant users of workflows their desired workflow access, request access, form access, and field level access. As you can see, request is going from the attendance unit to the HR onboarding unit and merging back into one. In the diagram, also we can see the 2 parallel tasks are merging. Now we log in with the HR onboarding unit to see the summary. Finally, the HR onboarding unit can view all the forms submitted by different departments and view the summary in a single page. All the input from all the users who were assigned tasks are viewed perfectly here. The new employee in the organization is onboarded and ready to work, making a positive experience for him from day one. Not only will our cloud-based onboarding process workflow automation API help you save time and money, but it will also give you a competitive advantage in attracting and retaining top talent. This was the automation of one process in an organization. Similarly, we can develop many automations using the same platform and it will appear in a single window. So why wait? Contact us today to schedule a demo and see how our API can transform all your organization's processes.